Hello, Dr. Chris Grier here, and we're continuing through our Fundamentals of Health video series. Now, nail these fundamentals and you will definitely be moving towards health. Let's talk a bit more about sleep today. Remember, in the Thrive formula, we have a certain set of things that need to happen for us to get to thriving. One of them is having a healthy, functioning nervous system so that our body can control and coordinate itself optimally. Then we need to give our body everything it needs. Physically, chemically, emotionally, these are the fundamentals that we're working through. And we need to limit or eliminate all of the things the body doesn't need, these toxic, deficient things that are so prevalent in our lifestyle. We need to then do all of this over time so that we can get to thriving. Now, let's dig in to one of the fundamentals that I think is most important, and that's sleep. And why is a chiropractor talking about sleep anyway? Well, I'm talking about sleep because what I really aim at is for people to get wherever they want to get in life as far as their health goals are concerned. In fact, laying health out as the foundation for them being able to do whatever they want to do in life and deliver their talents to the world in the best way possible. We know that if a person is going to be as healthy as possible, that sleep is of primary importance. And one of the things that's key to understand is that when we are subluxated, when our spine or our cranium is subluxated, it doesn't allow for the normal functioning of the body. In fact, it kicks the body into a stress response. And when the body is in a stress response, which is a hormonal cascade that is perfectly suited for when we're being attacked by a tiger or something like that, but not at all perfectly suited if that stress is going to exist, stay around, like a bad job or a bad relationship, those sorts of stresses. Those stresses, when they remain, allow the stress response to stay there. And when the stress response is there, sleep is downregulated. Of course, if a tiger's running after you, your body wants to do anything but sleep at that point. So sleep in the stress response is something that gets downregulated. Now that is key because we have seen so many instances of people reporting better sleep with chiropractic. In fact, my own son, when he was 10 weeks old, we were on a long trip, our first long car trip that we had taken as the three of us. And on our way back, he was screaming, just screaming. And we hadn't experienced this before. And man, we stopped 3 times to have him nurse. And that wasn't helping. It would help in the short term, but then get back in the car seat and he'd be screaming. And finally, my wife Christina says, "Hey, have you checked him?" I'm like, "Oh, geez, gosh, I'm a chiropractor. It's the first thing in the Thrive formula. Maybe his nervous system is having an issue." So I checked him, I adjusted him, and boom, he fell asleep. That fast. I checked him, I adjusted him, and he fell asleep. We also had a 14-year-old named Erica that we worked with. And her story when she sat down at our consultation table was, "I haven't been sleeping well for as long as I can remember." I said, "Well, what does that look like?" "Well, I lay down in bed and it takes me 3 or 4 hours to fall asleep." I said, 3 or 4 hours? Yeah. "For as long as you can remember?" "Yeah." Oh my goodness, as important as we know sleep is, and this young lady hadn't been getting good sleep for her entire life. Anyway, a longer story, little bit shorter, but we get her checked. We use our technology to identify where her nervous system has interfered. We use my chiropractic training to identify what's going on as far as the motion and the position of the spine. And we find out what's going on. She starts a care plan. After her first adjustment, she was able to fall asleep within 2 hours. Better, but still sounds horrible to me. After her next adjustment, she was able to fall asleep pretty much immediately. And within 2 weeks of her starting her initial care plan, she was completely without any problem sleeping. She hadn't slept for her entire life. And we identified what was going on. She was subluxated. Her body was staying in the stress response. It wasn't allowing her to get good sleep, and it certainly wasn't allowing her to fall asleep. And once we took care of the subluxation, boom, everything improved. And months later, I would ask her, like, "Hey, how's your sleep?" Oh, it's good. Like, are you just falling asleep? Oh yeah, I'm falling asleep, no problem. Fortunately, that was normal function for her at that point. So those are the sorts of things we get to see when we apply chiropractic through the lens of improving body function and health. And I love it. All right, enjoy your day.